Welcome to another edition of the AsIs podcast. Today is going to be a special day. And the reason why I'm going to say it's a special day is because I'm going to tell you guys a story. And I have a ton of them. But this story in particular is going to be about the case of R.Kelly. You know, that's always been a hot topic. And I think it's a topic that will be debated and talked about for the next 20 to 100 years. Make no mistake about it. R.Kelly was definitely the king of R&B. He's one of the most celebrated, talented black music artists that we have in this business. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it seems to be that black men who make it to his level of success always comes with some type of attack. Now, I'm not going to get into his guilt or innocence. I've always remained non-biased, or as non-biased as I could. Some people take it and interpret it to their level of perception, to what they understand to be guilt or innocence. That's not what I'm doing. I'm going to talk about some things today because there's some liars within this whole group. And when I say group, I mean group starting from his legal team, some of his supporters, some of the bloggers, Instagrammers, Twitters, whatever you want to call them. In particular, I am going to start off with someone that called me, and what they did was they brought to my attention an individual that I had in my documentary. Now, let me just say this. For those of you who are not familiar with it, Precedence was supposed to be a story about R. Kelly, his life, the good and the bad. When I was first approached to do this story, and I was approached, I did not jump up and say, I want to do an R. Kelly story. Someone approached me with the idea. I accepted that thought. But I told them immediately, I am not going to tell an R. Kelly story and make him look like an angel, because nobody's going to believe it. Even if you have a God-sent, God-given angel and you paint his picture as just being a God-sent, God-given angel, there are going to be people who will dispute that fact. So for me, to make him human, I was going to show his flaws as well as his gifts. That is a well-balanced, styled documentary. In addition, one thing that I don't think people realize or understand is you are supposed to be non-biased when reporting any type of news because you have a moral obligation to tell the truth. I take that a little deeper, and the reason why I take it deeper is because I'm black. Regardless to how you feel about R. Kelly, he is a reflection of the black community, bottom line. So with that being said, let me get into this. One of the people that I had on my documentary, and be mindful, I had everybody involved in the documentary. The people that you did not see, I questioned their credibility, and sometimes I just decided I'm not going to put them in there. But I had more women that I didn't show than I did in the documentary. Now, I'm going to start off in particular with an individual that I've met. And let me tell you how I met this person. This person was constantly on YouTube, okay? He had commentary on the R. Kelly case. He seemed to be non-biased. He seemed to have done his homework. Now, I didn't see the person first. A paralegal on R. Kelly's team that watches YouTube found him. He then told a lawyer. When he told the lawyer then told me. We literally sat in a lawyer's office and we watched his commentary. So the lawyer says to me, Shabazz, get him. Now, he didn't say get him in a sense or a manner to do anything violent or, to cross-examine him. Get him, meaning get his story. No problem. Now, be mindful again. I want you guys to understand something. This individual also said on his platform he didn't see anyone else who had the witnesses or the people that were around R.Kelly outside of his platform or anyone else's platform. At the time, I didn't have a platform, but everybody that he's had on his platform was in my documentary. Everybody that he's had on his platform, I personally know. That's neither here nor there. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is because I think sometimes people like to be bigger than what they really are, and everybody wants to seem important. Like no one wants to just be Small John. Everybody has to be Big Bobby for whatever reasons, their ego or whatever. Anyway, I get in contact with him, and I get in contact with him on Twitter. I still have the tweet. We talk. We set up an appointment. No, I'm sorry. I'm too far ahead. We talk. We may talk 2 or 3 more times. In between these talks, phone numbers were exchanged. So we were talking via the phone. Now, he seemed to have a plethora of information. He knew Geronda Pace. He knew her girlfriend. He knew Dominique. He knew about this one, that one. So I'm saying to myself, I'm a documentarian. Where are these people at? Show me. So he did show me a few. Geronda Pace's girlfriend was in my documentary, which no one seems to have gone after. And I think she would have made an excellent witness on behalf of R.Kelly because she told her story, and I feel like her story was the truth. He gave me another person. Now, this is the person that's controversial. Jasmine. Now, I'm just going to be as honest and as open as I possibly can. I don't mean to be facetious, malicious, nasty towards anyone, because I'm not on that. So understand, in my descriptions and how I speak, I want you to know, I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just telling you, at the end of the day, I ain't going through all that. Yo, listen, I'm human. I think just like everybody else. So the story is the story. Long story short, we make a date, an arrangement to meet in North Carolina. Now, the person I'm talking about, I think I said his name, but if I didn't, it's Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice lived 30 to 45 minutes outside of North Carolina or something like that. He lived in a rural area. So he had to drive his 30 to 45 minutes to meet me when I arrived in North Carolina. I flew Jasmine out. I literally met Jasmine via a 3-way phone call between me, herself, and Dr. Rice that he initiated. Okay, so now we end up in North Carolina. I'm staying on a block. They have a basketball team there. I can't remember the name of the basketball team, and that's something some of you guys might hold against me because some of the things I just don't remember. I got a lot of shit going on. I've said this before on someone else's platforms. I don't remember my children's birthdays sometimes. I know their birthdays because their mothers tell me. Womp womp. I'm a bad father. Whatever. I do not remember the exact name of the basketball team, but I do know there were 2 hotels, one to the left side of the arena, one to the right side of the arena. These were the 2 best hotels in North Carolina. Boom. I stay to the one on the right side of the arena. I get a suite. And the reason why I get a suite is because I know I am going to set up half of that suite and make it like a studio. I have lights, cameras, et cetera, et cetera. In addition, because I had spoken to Jasmine, she didn't have a way or a means to get to where she was coming from to get to North Carolina. So I paid for her tickets and flew her in. I got her a hotel room. I made sure she was able to get from the airport to the actual location. Now, here's where it got tricky. Dr. Rice knew that information. Excuse me. He's the one who set up the meet. All of that happens with the exception of Dr. Rice manages to go to the airport to pick up Jasmine himself. Now, I don't really know. I know now. I didn't know at the time. But at the time, I didn't know what I'm about to tell you now. And it was kind of weird to me. Long story short, I've unpacked all of my stuff. I got camera gear. I got big black bags, some of them 15 pounds, but I got 5 or 6 of them because they're lights. In addition, I got the cameras, the lenses, et cetera, et cetera. I go upstairs, I put all my stuff up. I'm looking at my time, and I'm realizing that they should be here any minute. So what I did before I unpacked, I just went upstairs, checked the room, made sure it was straight, came back downstairs and stood in the lobby waiting for them to arrive. They arrive. I tell Jasmine I have a room for her. I say, what's up to Dr. Rice, because this is the first time I've physically seen him outside of talking on the phone. We go upstairs. We get upstairs, we start talking, yada, yada, yada. We get to the filming part. Now, understand, I never wanted to film Dr. Rice. I wanted Dr. Rice's information. And it wasn't because I didn't want to film him because I didn't feel like he wasn't credible or he wasn't a person that could help R.Kelly, because he had excellent commentary. And he had commentary that was good enough that made the lawyers stop and say, Shabazz, go get him. So I'm doing a job, but I'm working for myself, but for everybody, because I'm trying to be non-biased. So I'm going to go with the enemies and I'm going to go with the friends. I'm going with everybody. If you just stay on one side, you'll never get a complete story. It doesn't matter how you personally feel. This is a job that you have to do. That was my intention. So I didn't want to film him because I felt like the people that had gotten in contact with him as a result of being on his channel, they were more credible because they were women. I didn't want to do a lifetime bash R. Kelly, bash R. Kelly, bash R. Kelly. I thought that was wrong. The devil has done good. And I'm not saying R. Kelly is the devil, excuse me, but what I am saying is that, you mean to tell me this man ain't never did nothing good? Like, come on, man. I'm not about to sit up here and put 25 women that all they have is negative stories. He's done nothing good for nobody. Nobody has nothing nice to say. So I wasn't doing the lifetime thing, but I was going to tell the story. So I wanted to hear it from the women who experienced the story. Long story short, after I get through doing Jasmine, I say, you know what? I might as well kill two birds with one stone. Dr. Rice is here. He has a commentary. Let me film him as well. So now I do that. That's done. That was the professional side. Here's what wasn't professional. Dr. Rice claims or says he's never received a dime from anybody. That's a lie. I paid him. I paid him for his time. The man lived 45 minutes, 35 minutes, 25 minutes, however many minutes away from where we were at. He got to have gas money. He has the witnesses. He has to eat. Do I feel like he played me or he came after me to get $1 million? No, I do not. I am not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is the man needed to be compensated for his time just like anybody else does. So I didn't have a problem with that. In addition to that, I paid for Jasmine's flights. Hotel. In addition to paying for flights and hotel, I paid her phone bill. 2 of them. Might have been $800. No, there's no might have been. It was $800 because she was double behind. Jasmine was a troubled young lady. The reason why I say she was a troubled young lady, I remember getting a phone call from Jasmine about she had a baby. The baby was in school, some type of school. And they found out that she was associated with R.Kelly. I think she maybe had done a post or something like that and people seen it. So as a result of doing that, her mother didn't know that she was messing with R.Kelly because she still lived and was under the control of her mother. Her mother found out as a result of the school and threatened to kick her out. Jasmine was... I don't know what she is now because I haven't spoken to Jasmine for months. But at that time, Jasmine was in between life's hardships. She had it hard. She was a single black parent. And I'm not saying that to down her because we all go through whatever we go through. But at that time, that's what she was going through. She's a young woman, black. She has a baby. She's staying with her mother. She's going through what she's going through. So it didn't strike me as weird or her trying to get over on me or anything like that because her phone was about to get cut off. And it didn't strike me as weird for me to say, you know what? I'm going to pay for your food. I'm going to pay for your transportation. I'm going to fly you out. Everybody that's professional does that. It does not insinuate or imply that the person wants to sleep with you. When you're on the level of telling any kind of story, you have to get the storyteller to the location to have the story told. I was flying in from New York. Actually, I'm lying. I was flying in from Chicago. She was flying in from, I forgot where she was at, but she was somewhere close. She was somewhere on the East Coast. I can't remember. And again, hold me however you want to hold me because I don't remember. So what? I don't remember. The point is, I did what I did because it was the right thing to do. If you were ever or know anybody who was on Oprah or Jerry Springer and Oprah will fly you out, provide you hotel accommodations, give you a voucher to eat, get you a car service to get to the studio to film, and then kindly send you back to wherever you come from the same way. There's no difference. Because their names is Oprah and Jerry Springer doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to do that. If you want to be in this business, the game is the game. You got to play according to the rules. So that's all I did. Now, what I didn't know that I found out later. One, she did not stay in the hotel. The room was paid for. The reason why she didn't stay in the hotel is because Dr. Rice, allegedly, and let me use that word, allegedly, told her not to stay in the hotel with me. Now, I don't know why that man told her not to stay in the hotel room with me. And she wasn't staying in the room with me. She was staying in the hotel. I had one room, a suite, and I actually had her room, which was also a suite. I had reserved these rooms after the moment that we made the deal for me to fly her in and to come from Chicago to North Carolina. So it was already done. There is a paper trail for that. What I'm saying, I could prove. This ain't no... I'm just making up. It's a paper trail. Bottom line, anybody who is smart, anybody who does investigative journalism will be able to track these things down. Okay? The reason why at the time I didn't realize what it was, but I kind of figured it out, and in my gut, it was because maybe she just didn't trust me. She thought I was on some other stuff. I don't know. But let me just say this. Jasmine is a beautiful soul. She's a young black woman. But she ain't my type. She's not my type. Like, at the end of the day, I own a business, but let me tell you how I think. I'm just a regular person from the streets. And you know what? There was a time where I couldn't pay my phone bill neither. So I think the same way that anybody who's come from the bottom thinks. So with that being said, we all have preferences and types. So I'm not holding or judging her because of her situation, but she just wasn't my type. To be, I'm going to go ahead and say it. To really be truthful, when I first seen her get out of the car and walk into the lobby with Dr. Rice, I couldn't even believe it. Because in my mind, I'm saying, R.Kelly slept with you? Dog, I got to get this story. Like, are you serious? Again, I'm not being mean. She's not pleasing to my eyes. She just not. She's a beautiful soul, and it's not about sex, and it's not about attraction. I'm not pleasing to some people's eyes. I mean, it is what it is. And when you think of R. Kelly, call me a male chauvinist or biased or whatever, but when you think of R. Kelly, as far as entertainment, you think beautiful women. They could be whatever color they are, whatever shape, but they're just beautiful women. The women that come with the game on his level are out of the average man's reach. Like, you see these women that be with some of these dudes and you're saying to yourself, there's no way that I can get her. You know that if you real. As a man, you know in your heart, she outside my league, dog. Like, I'm not even going to try to, she not about to hurt my feelings because A, I'm not R. Kelly. B, I don't have R. Kelly's money. Like, that man comes with perks. People on his level come with perks. Women come with perks. Jasmine did not come with any perks. So there was no way in hell I had ever thought about doing anything with Jasmine. Bottom line. Now, because of Dr. Rice, maybe, he may have seen, oh, who's this dude, Shabazz? He coming down here. He got this nice hotel. He doing this, that, and the other. I'm not about to let her get with him because some men get defensive when it comes to women. I'll give you the best example. I own a magazine. I deal with hundreds of photographers. I've been owning this magazine for 17 years. I've dealt with 1,000 photographers. 990 of the photographers that I've dealt with, when they take women's pictures, they think they own the women. They do little men things like not give the pictures when they're supposed to. They don't edit them. Or they may come in and say, well, I need an extra whatever I need because they know the female is bad. And understand something. The models don't know that they do this. Sometimes they figure it out because of the length of time to have the job done. But normally, they don't know what the photographer is doing. All they know is they've come in, taken pictures, and gone. And now the photographer, if he's freelance, is supposed to supply the pictures to the magazine. But these dudes that be having these photographers, 990 of them out of 1,000, suddenly become the model's pimp with some pictures. It's normal in this game. I don't care who you think it is. I'm telling you from experience. And I've dealt with the best and I've dealt with the bums. But the one thing that they all do is when they get them women's pictures, they feel like they're God. And the game changes. I think Dr. Rice had some of that inside of his head because he knew he had what I wanted as far as her. And I'm sure he knew that Jasmine did not fit the criteria of what I imagined for an R.Kelly level. I'm not saying she's ugly, not saying she's pretty. I said the criteria. Boom. Come to find out, and this is after, he takes her back to his house as opposed to staying in a suite in the hotel that I was staying in. He didn't let the car service pick her up. He went and picked her up. Now, what I find out after is in that ride at the car service, in between coming from the airport back to the hotel, you know what he does? He makes her fill out a contract to sign over the rights to her story. It's alleged, and it was alleged by her. I'm like, what? And then come to find out, this is another alleging part of the story. They had sex. And it wasn't consensual. Alleged. The first time wasn't consensual. The times that came after came as a result of her staying there. Jasmine's personality was one, again, of not having a stable, suitable place to stay. She was already running from whatever she was running from, her inner demons. Her baby was with her mother. Her mother threatened to throw her out. She's in an entirely different state. She had no money. She wasn't the type of girl that came to the club and might have had $5 or $10. She's the kind of girl at that time, she was the young lady who went to the club and strictly depended on a man to come and buy her a drink. If you didn't have, she didn't have the money. And if you didn't have any money, she wasn't going to talk to you, but she needed somebody to come and say, hey, baby, what's going on? You need a drink? Like, what you drinking? She was going to accept it. She didn't come and say, she wasn't the, I could buy my own drink, nigga, get out my face. She was definitely not that. Understand now, I just flew her in. I know she didn't have any money. How do I know that? We took a lunch break in between filming because the room got extremely hot because of the lighting from my camera system. The lights that we had around. I think we had 4 lights. And they produce a lot of heat. I bought the food. She was rather comfortable around me because when we started off, it was an immediate, not bond, but she realized I was a street dude. So she didn't come in with the talking like she was talking to CNN or none of that. She talked to me like I was a dude on the corner. And I ain't have a problem with that because I'm a dude from the corner. And she told me she didn't have no money. I didn't find that weird because you know how many women are actually like that? A lot of them front, but I know a lot of sisters that do that. And to each his own. They do what they do. Dr. Rice figured all of that out. It's not hard for a man to figure out a woman's situation and condition. So now when he has her home, from what she's telling me, allegedly, he wants to sleep with her. She didn't want to do it. You got to understand something now. She done left the hotel, a fancy hotel. She's not in a car that I paid for, meaning car service. She's riding around with him, whatever he's in, and she's at his house. She has no way to get back to the hotel because she doesn't have any money. She does have a plane ticket that tells her when she can leave, and I think I had her there for maybe 3 days. So she was basically stuck. So she says, allegedly, it's not alleged what she said, it's alleged what she said happened. He forced her to have sex. Not only did he force her to have sex, one of her other complaints was, she said, Shabazz, when I was there, he didn't even have a bathroom. What? He didn't have a bathroom. He has an outhouse on the porch. Wait a minute. Hold up. This dude that's so intelligent, that has whatever he has, that seems to sit down and break down whatever, and has the best of the guests that come from the R.Kelly crew, doesn't have a bathroom, and at this time, what was it, 2019? You got an outhouse on the porch? So you mean to tell me you got women pissing in buckets? Dog, how do we not have our priorities together? You writing books, you signing people's information up where they can't talk to anyone else based on you baiting and switching them because you have intelligent conversations. You are everything that they are accusing R.Kelly of. Everything. Everything that they are putting on that man, you are. I do not know and was not there or did not see or witness what they say R. Kelly did. I just wasn't. I listened to the stories. But you got a story too, dog. And you got a story with the witnesses. And you fooled people. And you know why you fooled people? Because you came with that intelligent conversation. Now, I'm going to give you a conversation. And understand something. I don't got nothing against Dr. Rice. I don't got nothing against none of them. My thing is, listen, if you ask me, I'm going to tell it. I'm telling it now just because I feel like it. And I'm telling it because I'm tired of these people lying. People keep coming up with all these kind of stories and saying this and saying that. And half of these people that are telling you all these stories are baiters and switchers. I was there with those people. I seen firsthand myself. Not no hearsay. Not no, I heard it through the grapevine. No, nigga, I was there. I brought these people in. And guess what? I wasn't even the man. I'm not even trying to be the man because there were other people behind me as well. And let me just tell y'all something for the record. Chicago is not a town where you can just walk around and be whoever you think you want to be and not have to pay some kind of a price. Be it whether it's pressure, people wanting to get on, people begging for money. It's just not a town like that. So in other words, in Chicago, you better be connected to somebody or something to keep bullets off your back. You think R. Kelly was exempt from that? Definitely not. Too big. That's like thinking or hearing when people say, when you come to my town, nigga, you better check in. Try to go to LA as a rapper. Try to run up in Detroit as a rapper. Somebody gonna say, yo, nigga, you gotta check in when you come into this city. The person that's saying that you gotta check in is the nigga that's protecting you. You think he doing that shit for free? Don't you think it don't happen in R&B? You think it don't happen in wherever? You don't think that shit done happened to me before? The only difference, and I ain't killed nobody and I ain't sold 1,000 keys, is I have a magazine that's been around for a long time and we cater and center around alleged criminals, real criminals, gangbangers, drug dealers, the whole thing. So there ain't a gangbanger or a drug dealer on no part of the coast that I do not know. And if I don't know you personally, they know my product. So sometimes that helps me. I ain't got to check in. Because if you see me there and niggas know I'm there anyway, you know I'm there to deal with a real nigga that 9 times out of 10 you already respect. That's how that game goes. So with Dr. Rice and going back to that, it bothers me when I sit down and I listen to these dudes lying. It bothers me when niggas is kicking dirt on R. Kelly's name. I don't know what that man did. I'm not defending him. I'm not against him. But I ain't going to sit down and make up a lie about somebody to make myself look good. Because what you get out the end of the deal, a book deal. You know what I mean? People coming out with book deals. And here's the thing. You're bamboozling these people with all of these stories that you got. And nigga, you don't know half the shit you think you talking about. And I'm sorry for getting upset and my language changing. But it's just what it is. And at this point, I don't care. Like, challenge me. And y'all remember what I said. There are paper trails. There are ways to find out and prove it. And if the feds was on my ass, say I was under investigation, I guarantee they'll pull up them credit card receipts, them plane routes. If Jennifer Bongine is what she says she is and what people believe that she should be, I bet she'll find it. I guarantee you that. So the moral of the story for me is don't believe the hype. Don't believe the shit that these dudes is running around saying, because everybody got a story. Everybody is an expert. Everybody knows this and everybody knows that. But at the end of the day, R.Kelly, as of this day, is convicted as being whatever it is he was convicted of. He's guilty according to a court of law, not opinion. It remains to be seen if he beats it and if he comes home. But up until this time, how are you an expert and you know so much and the man locked up? How are you an expert going against the legal system? And here's a great example. Some of his team is flawed, is I don't know what. Criminals. Ask me how I know. If you watch my documentary, they were in my documentary. So I've had personal dealings with some of them. A great example is Nicole Becker. How in the hell does a female that is married to the fourth richest person in Michigan, who has an office in the building that her husband owns, in her office at that time, there were no law books. I didn't talk to her on the phone. It was in her face. I was in her office. Her office looked like Paris Hilton's office. When you walked in the office, you thought you was in a Hollywood agent's office that was an agent for models or a singer, Elton John. And it doesn't matter about a person's sexual preference. So I'm not trying to say, or I'm not coming at the LGBTQT community, but she definitely has the LGBTQT community in that office with her as her assistants, and they are black. It wasn't what a lawyer is supposed to look like. Not a lawyer on the level of defending R.Kelly. If you you are defending Pookie the drug dealer, okay, I still wouldn't go for it if I was Pookie. But when you're defending a man whose life is on the line, who's gone through what he's gone through, like R.Kelly, to me, it comes with a certain status and a certain look. And you have to live that status and that look at all times. The girl had fur carpet. What do you call those things that are fake diamonds? I can't remember what you call them, but not zirconias. I forgot what you call them. But there's something that looks like, they used to be on the side of pimp cups. I remember when pimp cups was popular because I knew the lady who started that, Miss Debbie. And I would sit down with her in her house and she would glue them shits on the side of a cup and give it to Snoop, give it to Lil Jon. Like, I've done seen some things and been around some people. I just don't remember what you call them. But they were bedazzling, all spread across the furniture, the book racks and stuff in her office. So I'm sitting here and she got literally white fur carpet. I got Timberlands on. I just get out the whip. I'm going upstairs where she at. I don't even want to put my feet on the floor because the room is like, goddamn. If you move the carpet, you might smell a scent of whatever perfume females is wearing. That's what she was on. When she filmed her part, we had to find an office in that building that had law books to make it appear as if those were in her office. They wasn't. So I was always mesmerized with, like, how does she get this spot? And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I felt in my heart like that she was white. And I feel like black people think white is right sometimes. And so sometimes they just go with a Caucasian. It doesn't matter their credentials, just as long as they're Caucasian. And because he was fighting sexual charges and it was going to be in court in New York, what better person to have standing up representing you than a white person? And a female at that. I never said that. In my gut and in my heart, that's what I thought. And in my gut and in my heart, it proved to be true. And then to add insult to injury, would it not only be proven to be true, when I got to Azriel said they had a sexual relationship. That's one of the things that turned her off from Nicole. Because I'm going to tell you something else. I got Azriel through Nicole. They had the relationship. She was like their manager, her and Jocelyn. Anything that happened and came through as far as money, came through as paying rent for any place, guess who managed the money? Nicole. Guess who she gave it to? Azriel and Jocelyn. This is the part that some people may not want to hear. R.Kelly gave the order. It was his money. He knew. Why he gave her that kind of power, I don't know. I really can't answer. If I was to take a guess, it would be because of what Azriel said, because he was sleeping with her. You know, they say Becky give a good blowjob. I don't know if it's true because I don't got a Becky, but that's what they say. So I don't even know if it was the sex, allegedly, that did whatever it did, but it was something because she went against Greenberg. And I know people feel a certain type of way against Greenberg. I still support Greenberg. I'm not throwing him under the bus. And the reason why I support Greenberg, because he just told you what it was. He tells you how it is. Does he have a problem sometimes with being arrogant and thinking that he is the shit in a courtroom? He does. But who's not going to be cocky when you're doing your job? I don't look at that as a flaw. It's just what it is. If you be around a celebrity, you be around a basketball player, you think these dudes are humble? Hell fucking no, they're not. Because I've been around them. They're not humble. They think that they are the shit. And when people are up in their face, the people that are up in their face listening to them think they're the shit too. That's why they're in their face. Did he handle R. Kelly's case the correct way? I don't know. I don't know if he did, because there was a coup inside of his camp. So he never really had the power to take it and do the way he was supposed to, because he was going against an alleged sexual relationship against a woman. You ain't winning against no woman, dog, with another dude. Women have power. Yo, if I'm locked up and my girl is in the street and my girl is the one that's running whatever or doing whatever I need her to do for me, and you my man, you could have been my man for the last 20 years, but I'm locked up. But son, that girl, she making sure my shit is taken care of. You ain't doing all that. We've been friends for 20 years, but you ain't doing all that. You're not coming and bringing 35 pounds of food. You're not on the phone calling my lawyer and making sure that they stay on top of my case. You my man, and you might accept my call and tell me some bullshit about what's going on in the streets, but nigga, you're not going to apply yourself in the time needed and taken to get me out of here. But that female is. That's what Nicole did. Greenberg couldn't win against that. How? And if my girl was coming on a visit, and this does happen on a visit, she could beat me off. She can give me a blowjob. And if I got enough money, I can get some behind the soda machine on the visiting floor with the police there looking the other way. The dude I knew for 20 years, I don't know what kind of dude some of y'all are, but he couldn't do that for me. That ain't gonna cut it. I'll tell you a real funny story. To get off the subject, I can remember being locked up and my girl coming to see me, and we were all the dudes that was about it to tell a women, don't wear no panties. Easy access. Wear a sundress. I'm gonna tell you a hustle. This is a real story. You know what the hustle is when you got a girl and she game and she down with you? You make sure she come there like that on a visit. You finger her. Let her get her shit off. Don't wash your hands. go back to the cells. Nigga, you got people that's been locked up for 10, 15 years. Do you know smelling 2 fingers that have come out of a woman is good for a pack of Newports? Nigga get to smell some pussy. I know that shit sounds crazy, but that's survival in jail, dog. That's how that game go. How you gonna go against that girl? She's your lifeline. She's making sure that you straight. She's sending you your packages. She's on top of your lawyers. She's allowing you to finger her so you can take the smell of her vagina and sell it for a pack of Newports. So the dude that's been fucking with me for 20 years, you think I'm gonna go against her for him? Ain't no goddamn way. That's just what it is. Yo, I got more stories. I'm not gonna tell them now. But there ain't nothing about that case or the people involved that I don't know about, that I've dealt with. I have hours and hours and hours of tape that just didn't come out. Now, what I challenge you people to do is challenge me. Because a nigga say something don't mean my mouth is no Bible. I could lie like everybody else. I'm not even trying to say I'm different than anybody, because I'm not. I ain't coming off with all that. But I'm not going against R.Kelly. And I'm not going to be for R.Kelly. I'm going to tell the truth about R.Kelly. And I'm going to tell the truth about the people that are involved. And let me tell you something else. I'm not writing no books later on about R.Kelly and my experiences with this case. Yo, I'm not even on that. I sincerely had a story that I took as a story and told it. Maybe if I'm 90 or some shit and it's, wherever, you might put me in a mental institution or a nursing home, whichever one. If I'm able to write a book, maybe, but I don't see that happening in no time in the near time future. So you got to remember your sources of information. You have to ask about their credibility, and then you have to ask and think to yourself, why and what are you benefiting from this? And ask that about me. What did I benefit from it? What I benefited from it, not monetarily wise, or what would I have benefited from, was I am the producer of the R.Kelly story. I've told 16 stories, from Big Meech to Larry Hoover, Willie Lloyd, Jeff Fort. Like, I've told the biggest of the big stories. When Rick Ross first came home and got out, who told his story? Who made his documentary? The real Rick Ross, not the rapper Shabazz did. I've told the Supreme Team story in New York. King of Queens, Shabazz did. Like 16 stories, dog. Why wouldn't I put in an R. Kelly story? Especially when one of the people that were in his camp was one of the dudes that's like the stories that I tell. That's how I got involved. So there was a benefit. Why wouldn't you want your name with those credits? People think it's the money. Oh, you trying to sell out for the money. Dog, you wrong. When you got a resume, if you go to college, if you go to Dartmouth, or if you go to Princeton, or you go to Rutgers, or you go to Yale, and you go get a job, and that's on your resume, guess what? You hired. Guess what? You got negotiation power to say, I want XYZ amount of money per year. If you go to your local community college, it's a difference, dog. Excuse me. That is not something that is going to be looked at the same way as Princeton on your resume. So R. Kelly would have been story 17 on my resume. It's not about the money. It's about the buildup. And it was a good story. But I don't want to tell no more R&B stories because the shit is a soap opera, dog. And every twist and turn that you go to, it's not what it appears. You have to remember, entertainment is smoke and mirrors. You can put a mirror in front of somebody and you see them crystal clear. But it's still not what it appears to be. A lot of people don't know that. Yo, thanks for listening to me. Y'all do what y'all do. But I definitely challenge any and all to come at me. Because trust me, I promise you this. When I come, I'm coming with proof. I'm not just going to be talking to be talking. Y'all got to understand that. Yo, Thanks for listening to the AsIs podcast. This is your boy Shabazz. Holla at me. Oh, and the last thing, contrary to popular belief, I don't have anything against anyone. I'm just telling a story, dog. Like, whether we cool or whether we not, some people don't understand and they don't like that about me. Like, we could be cool, but dog, if you out of order, you out of order. And I want you to carry it the same way I carry it and do that to me. If I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong. I can accept that. When you respect the game, you respect all aspects of the game. And sometimes the game, it hurts. But I believe in the game, so I gotta accept that pain to come with it. That's how the game is supposed to go. Until next time, y'all chill.